and Commerce NSS unit welcomes you to day 2 of our youth development program upgrade. The topic for our today's program is critical thinking and decision making. Our guest speaker for today is Sukriti Kohli ma'am. She is the founder of Doctor of Happiness with a mission to help young people with depression and other mental conditions through her illustrations and online platform. Although she doesn't have an official mental health qualification, she has dedicated her time to encourage people to talk openly about mental health problems and connect to their feelings. The idea of talking to people through her platform of Instagram is to further connect them to a psychologist. Her latest artwork has also been released in Bombay Begums with her illustrations having a heavy focus on mental health. These are few of her amazing illustrations. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be able to speak to each one of you. I see some faces that I know, some names that probably I've taught or something. And thank you NSS, thank you UPG for this opportunity. And the topic that has been given to me is critical thinking and focus. And before I jump into speaking about what exactly is critical thinking and why is it important, I have a small exercise for each one of you. Okay, and it doesn't require you to even move your fingers or your feet. It just requires you to smile. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so what we are going to do is, okay, for 1 minute, okay, just for 60 seconds, we're going to try to smile without any reason. I'm not going to crack any joke. I'm not going to make any funny face. Okay, just try and smile for 60 seconds. Let's try it. For all those of you whose cameras are off, okay, I hope you're not cheating and you are doing this exercise. There's a profound reason why I'm asking you to do this. I will tell you in another 30 seconds. And all of you are looking so wonderful, smiling. Very nice. Keep smiling. Do you feel stupid? I'm sure you feel stupid. Some of you must be feeling like, why am I even doing this? Okay, how does that even help? Okay, and so this was, you can stop smiling if you want. This was an experiment done by a very dear friend of mine who also works in the same field as me, which is happiness. And this basically gives you an introspection towards how each one of us are looking for happiness and how it is so difficult to smile without a reason for 1 minute. So it's kind of strange that we all are running behind happiness, but we can't invest even 1 minute not thinking about how stupid we look, just smiling. Because I think happiness starts with a smile, right? So we should smile not because there's a reason to smile. It should become the cause for happiness. It should not be the effect of happiness. So usually we smile when something happens, right? Someone gives us a smile, someone flirts with us, okay? Or someone says a nice compliment. That's the time the effect is that we have a big smile on our face. But what I'm saying is, let's transform this, and instead of an effect, let's have a pause. So without, and then you see the effect will happen. What will happen? If I give a smile to somebody, naturally that person will give me a smile back. It's that contagious. We all know that, right? So I think I want to begin the session with saying that whatever you learn, whatever I learn out of this session, I want you to really understand that happiness cannot be chased. Happiness comes from within. I have to make a very conscious decision to become happy. Okay, so it will not come from outside, it will come from inside. I want to narrate you an incident. My birthday is on 14th of March. You can wish me happy belated birthday if you want me to. Okay, now about few years ago I was having the most shittiest birthday on the planet. Okay, horrible, nothing was planned. It was just really horrible. You have one of those birthdays, I'm sure everyone has had one of those. I've had one. Okay, and I was really feeling very terrible, and I was feeling like what's happening, like I'm not even feeling special, nobody cares for me, nobody loves me. And at that moment this incident came to my mind. My happiness is in my hands. This is my birthday, this is my day. I have to own my own happiness. I don't have to worry about someone else making me happy. And guess what I did? For me, it was a very radical thing. For your generation, it may not be that radical. I went for a haircut out of nowhere, okay? And I just decided to get myself a haircut, which gave me happiness. I didn't care about what others think about it. I didn't care about, your forehead is too small to have a haircut like that. XYZ, blah, blah, blah. I didn't care. I said, I want to do what makes me happy. And I did that. And my day, half of my day was, of course, miserable. But after the haircut, not that the haircut had any power. The power was before the haircut, where I decided to own my happiness, where I said, I don't care about people making me happy. I want to make myself happy. And I stepped out of the salon and I felt so happy. And how they say, like the entire universe came and manifested some very small happy moments that day for me. And it became like a milestone in my life where I realized that it is true. When I take the onus of my own happiness, nothing in the world can stop me to become happy. So the most shittiest birthday turned up to be the most value creating birthday for me, because today, after so many years, I'm narrating this incident to you and encouraging you. So actually, if you see, it was actually a very, very wonderful birthday. Yeah. So when you are coming to a seminar where somebody is going to tell you something, maybe you're coming with this feeling that my questions will be answered. Whatever feeling that you're coming in with here for this session, I want you to know that nothing will really work. None of the hacks that I give you will work. None of the gyan will work until or unless you actually apply it in your life. Then it becomes only theory. Okay, so if you genuinely want this to work in your life and see your life expanding, see you becoming more happier, you will see that the environment that you live in will also respond to your inner happiness, and everything will move into a direction which will create more value in your life. Yeah, so you must apply what I say and not just listen and then just go back. Yeah, very, very important. Okay, so the first point that I want to share with you, yesterday I think you had another beautiful seminar, and I think it also covered on critical thinking. So I'm sure you already are aware that what exactly is critical thinking. I don't want to get into all of that. I want to take the critical thinking and bring it into a more practical light. Okay, how many of you can raise your hands, find difficulty in making decisions? The person who's taking the seminar can also raise their hands, right? It's not important that I'm taking the seminar so I know all the answers. Yeah, decision making is truly the most, I think, the hardest thing that one can do, because in today's world we have so many wonderful options that somehow we become very greedy. We want this also and we want that also, and there are a lot of people in the world who come and tell us that you can't have it all. Has anybody told you that? Yeah, you can't have it all. कहीं ना कहीं तो sacrifice करना ही पड़ता है. बोला आपको किसी ने कभी? So I'm going to break that bubble for you. Okay. Get ready. Okay. A lot of people will tell you that you are multi-talented, but you should focus on one talent. Has anybody felt that, or do you also feel that about yourself? Okay, great. I want to tell you one thing, and I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Each one of us here have the capacity, the ability to do whatever I want. Feel that. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Everybody right now here, in fact, I would say everybody in the world out there, including animals, including human beings, we have the capability, we have that capacity, we have that potential that we can do anything in the world. Anything. If you want to be a famous actor, you can do that. If you want to be a powerful person, you can do that. You want to be a billionaire, you can do that. Everything is possible. If you want to be a billionaire and you want to be an actor, possible. If you want to be a wonderful girlfriend and yet be able to focus on your studies, you can do that. You can do anything. Okay, but how do we tap this? How do I actually? So I think the first thing that I want to burst is that no, we can't do everything. We can do everything, and I think in today's world, post-COVID, I want to share this with you right now. I had a doctor's appointment at 3 o'clock, which I rescheduled. Okay, I'm fine. I don't have COVID. Don't worry. Just a general checkup with the doctor. I'm at my workplace right now. I was so busy that I even couldn't go to the doctor, and I couldn't go back home and look my prettiest to take this session. So I decided that rather than panicking about it, that I can't do it, let me just do it right here. Okay, and I think post-COVID, we've got this wonderful thing called Zoom, where I don't have to run and get stuck in the traffic, and I can actually sit anywhere in any part of the world and actually do this. And I think about 15 years ago, the kind of person I was, I would have panicked. And in these 15 years, what is that shift that has come to me? I was listening to a lot of people. I was listening to other people and not listening to my heart. So the first thing that I want to burst is, please stop listening to too many people in your life, including me. If this resonates with you, only then take it. Otherwise, you can just keep it aside. Every human being has the capacity, which is, let me compare it. A Japanese poet compared it to, the size of my heart is actually as vast as the sky and as deep as the ocean. Okay, that is the size of a human heart. That means I have that kind of capacity to do anything that I want to. So there is no limitation to you. I think that is the first thing I want to plant in your head. The second thing is to understand that I am going to make fault. I'm going to falter. I'm going to make mistakes. I am going to make wrong decisions. I am going to fall down. Okay, all of this is going to happen. This is real. Just by making a large goal, I can't achieve the goal. I also be realistic. The realistic part is not about having a realistic goal. The realistic part is about me falling down. So please allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to fall down. It's the best thing to do. It is actually the best thing to do. How else will we learn? In fact, I think when you are constantly winning, if there's anybody here who has constantly been, coming first in the class or constantly winning, in all honesty, that person will have an iota or a little bit more arrogance. It's human nature, man. I mean, you can't run away from that fact. That is why I'm saying that mistakes make you more human. They give you an opportunity to also tap your highest potential. Because जब तक मैं गिरूंगी नहीं, मुझे पता नहीं चलेगा मैं कितनी strong हूँ. until or unless I bounce back, I will never know. So in order to know how courageous I am, I must embrace, not only acknowledge, but also embrace the fact that I am a human and I can make errors. And I think the most amazing thing that you can do is to be honest about your mistakes. I was called for a motivational speech at a university, North Chitkara University. I remember in 2019, I think. And there were around 6 people who were coming and motivating people. And I was the youngest. And everyone had such amazing victories that I was the last one to actually come on the stage. And I was just wondering, I was telling myself, what am I going to talk? Because in my speech that I had prepared, I had only spoken about my failures. Because what I feel is when someone looks at you and they look at your achievements, they think that this is it, this is how it happens. It's just like you become an artist and then you suddenly win a Cannes and, you become famous and you're done. You become rich and you're done. But it doesn't work like that. And I was very honest on the stage to say that I'm not here to speak about, there are victories, but I don't want to just talk about the victories. I want to talk about the in-betweens of those victories. And the in-betweens are the places where people didn't believe in me, where my loved ones didn't believe in me, where I did not get support, where I was, feeling that I'm not good enough, all of that. And which is important, which is part of the journey. There's nothing wrong with it.
भाई
Everyone
झगड़ा
faces
शुरू
it.
करने का कि तो ऐसा हो गया यार क्रिश यार.
Ma'am, you can just unmute yourself.
Okay, किसी का झगड़ा हो गया बड़ा major, कोई बात नहीं. Peace to that person. Okay, now coming back to what we were saying. So it is really, really important to celebrate all the failures that you've had. Because, when you look back 10 years down the line, trust me, it will be the shitty days which will help you cherish the not so shitty days. Mark my words. Okay. And that is how life is. This is the second lesson that I want to give you. Now, the third thing that I want to tell you about decision making is when I'm at a juncture where I have to make a decision, I don't look at, and I've cracked this. I don't look at the decision as, is this going to give me more money? Is this going to give me quick gratification? Is it a short-term goal? Is it a long-term goal? Is it okay? And this is a more profound one, okay? So you better jot this down. Life and death kind of a decision. Always ask this question. Is this creating value, not only in my life, but in the life of other people? Thoda Mother Teresa type gyan ho gaya, but I'm telling you it works. What I've realized is a personal goal, which is very, very small. My personal goal is limited to my family, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my blah, blah, to my friends, whatever, people who matter to me, my best friend, XYZ. This goal is very limited. When I open this goal and I have a loftier goal, when I have a goal which is attached to my country, to my world that I live in, to humanity, I am raising a bar. So when I'm at a juncture where I have to decide, I think the first question that I ask myself is, will this thing create value in my life and in the life of other people. Meaning, will this decision harm anybody? Will this decision of mine be used as a growth, or will it be used to cut somebody's wings? Will this give me, whatever your mission is in life, whatever your goal is in life, is it taking me closer to that goal, or is it taking me further to your goal? There are a lot of distractions in this today's world, right? And I think love is one of the most, love and attraction and all of that is one of the prime reasons why we get distracted from our goals, right? हो सकता है किसी का goal ही love हो, ये भी हो सकता है, and that's not wrong. That's also right. Somebody can, or their life can have this one goal that I'm really looking for love. No matter what your goal is, distractions are going to come, and they're going to be distractions that are going to be very tempting. But you know what? You have to understand there is no right or wrong. You have to see what works for you and what doesn't. I'll give you an example. You have an exam tomorrow. I don't know if any of my students are here. I give this example very much. I don't know if you've heard this before, so pardon me if I'm repeating. Imagine you have an exam tomorrow. You have to study. You've studied enough, okay, but you still want to revise, okay, and you get an invitation to a very nice party where this wonderful person that you're really attracted to is also coming, okay, and you also need to study. Now you have a very difficult decision here, right? What do? If some of you would be like, I want to go to the party, I don't care about this exam. Fair enough. This is not a wrong decision. Okay? You go to the party and you start thinking about your exam. You're there with the person is interested in you, but all you're thinking is, I'm such a stupid person. I left everything, I'm at the party, and all I can think about is my exam. Now that is a bad decision. The decision of going to the party is not bad. The decision of not being in the present moment is a problem. In another case, you decide to study. Most of us would do that, I think so. Okay. You open your book. Practically, that's what we do, right? Pretend to be the good person. Yeah. The good person would do, no. I'm not going to the party. I have to study. I have an exam tomorrow. It's about my career. Ye to aata rahega banda ya bandi. I'm going to study. You open your book. The minute you open the book, that person's photograph comes right in front of your eyes, or the Instagram notifications keep coming to you and everyone's posting pictures about the party and you're like, why didn't I go? Now you can't study, neither are you at the party. That's a bad decision. So what I'm trying to say is, it is not really about this or that. It is about whatever decision I take, I'm going to be there in that present moment and I'm going to take the onus of it. If it is, at the end of the day, if it is a bad decision, I'm going to say it's a bad decision. I did it, but at least I did it. You should not have no regrets about it. I think decision making has become a lot more about black and white, and I don't see it like that. In fact, I hate black and white. I mean, I love black and white. All my illustrations are in black and white. But I don't like to see life as black and white because it isn't. Think about it. Are we both, are we all really black and white? Are we really like bad people and good people? Or can there be, is there a possibility that I'm a good person with bad habits? Is there a possibility I'm a bad person with good habits? I think it's really important to start looking at right and wrong from a much fresh perspective. There's a student of mine, ex-student of mine, who's narrated a very beautiful Hindi poetry called Saini Raj. I don't know if you've heard about it. She's very famous, about Sahi and Galat. अगर आपको कभी मौका मिले YouTube पे सर्च करना, ब्यूटीफुल. एंड आई रियली फील सही और गलत के बीच में जो हम फंसते हैं ना, वही क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग है. एंड आई थिंक there's no such thing as सही and गलत. जो आपके लिए सही हो सकता है मेरे लिए गलत हो. So I don't want you to put that burden on yourself ever about right and wrong. Critical thinking is about taking onus of your decision. It's not just about taking the decision. It is about taking responsibility of the decision that I've taken. And it's all right. Like I said, going back to the second point, it is all right to make mistakes. There is nobody in the world who is your mentor right now, who you look up to, who can turn around and say, I've never made a mistake in my life. That's why I'm famous. That's why I'm rich. That's why I'm powerful. No. All the masters, all the mentors, everybody has taken a wrong decision. So that's what makes us human. That's what makes us beautiful. And this whole concept of perfection, really like irritates me. It's an illusion, my friend. There is no life which is perfect. So try and make a life which is unique, not perfect. A unique path will stand out always, and perfect will never be achieved. So you'll always end up feeling frustrated, and that's not what we really want, right? So even when you're doing a small task like making a PPT presentation, I really feel rather than running behind, having a perfect presentation or Canva presentation or whatever, you should run behind making something which has some flaws. Yeah, I mean it has, and I think you keep on polishing it. Na? What is there? Rather than running behind something like this is the concept. This is the perfect thing. Yeah, very easy to say, very difficult to do. I totally agree, but achievable. It is achievable. I have to take that one step towards this. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and I have many things that I can share with you. Please, I don't want to make this session only about me talking. I also want to hear, what do you feel? If you have any questions, now is the time. I think it's a good time to ask. If you think you don't want to ask, then maybe you can, if you want to unmute or whatever, you can maybe send your questions to maybe on the chat or something, or you can send it directly to me. I'll try and not take your name, and yeah. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Okay. Okay, I had one thing going on in my head. With this whole situation with COVID and this whole lockdown and things really getting worse right now. How many of you, I'm asking a very personal questions, okay? Please allow me, you don't need to answer it, okay? If you're uncomfortable, please do not answer it. You can just maybe nod in your own head. There are some parts of our life which have come out in not very good ways, unfortunately. So externally, a lot of not so great things are happening. I'm talking about COVID, lockdown, people losing their jobs, students not able to understand many things, right? But that's all external. That's also happening. I'm not denying that. But there's also a lot of internal things that are happening. Are they happening to you too? Are you finding internal turmoil where you're unable to sometimes recognize your true self? Sometimes you are failing at maintaining relationships because of your internal battle. Sometimes not being able to understand other people's relationship, maybe family, maybe best friends. Have you seen people changing over a period of time and you're not able to understand that? Yeah. Okay. I get a lot of yes there. Yeah. Now, I want you to understand that how is one really dealing with this, and it has never happened before. There's no book written on this. We all are facing it for the first time. Even the, biggest, life coach and, whatever gurus and everyone, they're not able to really understand how to even, guide people through it, because everyone's going through this for the very first time. Yeah. So why am I talking about this? Is because I feel this is a real problem. And I think critical thinking is something which will be lifetime. But right now, what we are facing is something which is not there anywhere. Even if you search on internet, I don't think there's anything written about what I just said. So then how do I deal with something where I don't have any answer to it? How am I dealing with the complications of human relationships? How are you dealing with this whole idea of me sitting so far away from you on some screen? You're not able to actually see me, or probably after the seminar, you would have, maybe, I don't know, given me a handshake or something, or probably you would have, I don't know, there's so many things, right? You can also, there's a different smell in the seminar room when you sit, there's a different kind of a sound which comes when somebody speaks on the mic. It's very different to what we are doing right now. When you do it in person, it's very different. So how are you dealing with that coldness of technology? Technology is amazing and has, brought us, thankfully, doing this. But it is also a little bit cold. Don't you think don't you miss small talk? I was a person who was absolutely against small talk. Let me just brighten my screen. Sorry. Yeah. I never liked small talk. I have anxiety issues, and I have many weird anxiety issues. Maybe I can show you and make you feel a little more, maybe is that I can't eat in front of people, which is very strange, but it's true. I feel very anxious for, I don't know for what reason. Yeah, I've got one very nice question. I'll address that. Okay. I don't know, where was I? Yeah. My weird anxious things. The other thing is that there are many portions to that, right? I also find small talk I get very anxious when we have to do, so how are you doing? And the weather is like this and all of that kind of things. Aaj khane mein kya banaya hai? Those kind of very, very petty. And I find them like, I just am, either you talk to me and create value or don't talk to me. I'm that kind of a person. But this lockdown has taught me the importance of small talk. This smelling a person, and but in a good way. When you meet someone, there's so much. You look at them, you look at the person's bag, you look at the person, how the person is sitting. Maybe there's so much of physical presence, right? And that is missing in today's time. How are we dealing with it? It's very, very difficult. And some of you are probably trapped because some of you have not even stepped out. I know that for whatever circumstances, and that's really difficult. All I can say is that I hear you, and I know it's difficult. But I know one more thing, and one suggestion that I can give you is, our mind is so powerful. Use it. Utilize your mind to space out from your situations at times. And a lot of times people say me time, self-love. I also use those terms very often. Sometimes you can't indulge in self-love when you're in a lockdown. Sometimes you just can't get that space in the house. How do you do it? I have one hack for you. You can utilize it. Maybe you're already doing it. Use your earphones. They are magical. They can transform you into another space and use this earphone as not only music but also podcast. Any podcast that can motivate you, any music that can uplift you, not bring you down, please. Don't listen to music which will further put you back into a black hole. Yeah. Choose has so much of power. Song that you're listening to. There are lyrics everywhere. Am I clear? Am I audible? Is there a Wi-Fi issue that I'm facing? Because I have only this network. I'm so sorry. Should I switch off my video and then maybe it will be better? Okay, is this okay? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, please. Okay, super. Okay, so, okay. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to say is that all of this is very, very difficult. Let's not, okay. It is very space. Find out a mental space where you can universe of your own, and this is not called escapism. A lot of people will tell you, oh, you're escaping from this situation. It's not. For example, attending this seminar is like creating a mental space. You've already created a mental space right now. You are away from, even I am. I have personal jazz going on up and down in my life. And while I'm talking to you, I have also created a mental space where I'm detached from all the jazz that is going on in my life and speaking to you about more value creating stuff, which is in fact helping me as well. So when I indulge in more productive things, I naturally, when I'm unproductive now, naturally my vibe will be very low. I will vibe at a very low energy. So please find out ways to be productive. And one example that I can give you, that I had one live on my Instagram page. I had a live with a psychologist and she said the most fantastic thing. She said, use your hands to be more productive. What it means is not scrolling on the phone, but to really, utilize in a very productive manner, meaning make something, either write a poetry, either draw something, either use your hands to sculpt something, clay modeling, all of this, even for 10-15. You know how Lego has become so famous with creative people. I don't know if you're aware of this. Every wonderful, happy workplace has now got a room which has, Lego toys. Okay, where you can go and actually, and grown-ups are using this. Adults like me are actually using Lego as a wonderful, mental space to ideate, because it takes you off from all the other jazz that's happening in life. So switch off. How do you switch off? Switch off like this. Okay, so these are a little hacks that I wanted to give you. And now I'm going to jump to the wonderful questions that you all have asked. So, yeah. There's a question on beauty standards. Okay. I'm going to answer that. How do people accept their, especially since we only see in media? And I think it really blurs my vision towards my goals. Yes, very wonderful question. Okay. I totally understand where you. One of the main reasons, and I love advertising, but I think one of the main reasons yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your audio is not that clear.
Give me a second, guys. Is it better?
Yes, ma'am.
One second. Huh? So sorry. Let me put my personal hotspot. Maybe that will help. It's a better. All right. Is it better, my friend?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, about body image. One of the main reasons why I got really put off by advertising, and I've never shared this with anybody, is the very fact that I was working on beauty products, and even though I love the idea of advertising, I love the idea of selling things, I love the idea of, but what put me off was certain things which were clashing with my values, with my core values, as a human being. And I think one of the core values that I have is to not promote something, not believe, not promote something which I don't believe in. And body image was one of the main reasons which put me off. And how to really, deal with it now? You'll have opportunities to take these decisions, my friend. And do not let anyone tell you what is right and what is wrong. This is how I started the lecture. That people will come and tell you that this is right and this is wrong. I really think you should go with your gut feeling. There's a gut in our stomach, and when we don't listen to our gut, hamara pet kharab ho jata hai. That's why mental, and I'm not kidding, mental health and gut is deeply related. Tell me, have you ever faced it that when you were going through any kind of mental block, mental trauma, mental disruption, mental depression, anything, remember how your constipation or your loose motion or your loss of appetite happened parallelly? Do you remember before the maths exam how you used to have a stomachache? In my case, maths. In your case, I don't know what. Okay, but whenever we are nervous, whenever we are not just nervous, there's a mental, mind पे जब बहुत ज़्यादा pressure आता है ना, there's a gut, जिसमें तकलीफ होती है. Gut and mind are deeply connected. That is why if somebody tells you, a psychologist or a psychiatrist or people who really matter to you in your life, when they tell you, please drink water for your mental health, please eat healthy food for your mental health, you may think, how are they even connected? But man, they are deeply connected. This body is it's so complicated that everything is interconnected. So you may think you're eating food just to look glowy and, just to look, beautiful or whatever. But actually, you're also doing a big favor to your mental health. Now, coming back to what I was saying, how I have seen beautiful, thin people doing horrible things to other people, bullying. I have seen supposedly, and I'm quoting, I'm doing this right now, supposedly fat people or supposedly thin people, okay? I've seen the most warm-hearted, most giving, most kind-hearted people as well. What I'm trying to tell you is that my body shape does not define for the kind of person I am. Focus on becoming a better human being and not a good-looking person. Good-looking is great, but a person who you will forget people how they looked. When you're dying, all of us are going to die one day, right? When we are on our deathbed, you're not going to remember the beautiful people that you met in your life, good-looking people, okay? Face-wise, body-wise. You know what you're going to remember? You're going to remember the people who made you feel beautiful. Think about that. We always remember people and their words that made us feel wanted, that made us feel beautiful, and just focus on that. So I think we are in a world right now where there's too much focus on how we look. I want to give you a quick example of the music industry outside right now, whatever that you call international music scene. I think Michael Jackson in today's time wouldn't have lasted. I think Queen wouldn't have lasted in today's time, because today when you look at singers, they all look like models. And how are they doing it? The focus has completely shifted from singing to how you're looking, because everything is auto-tuned, man. Even I can sing. I'm so fortunate. I'm married to a music composer. Tomorrow, if I want to be a singer, I actually can. All I have to do is look good. Singing and sur and nothing matters anymore. And maybe this will be followed in our industry as well at some point. Thankfully, we have people who are actually talented and are doing well. May not be in the standard form of beauty. We have to change this. And who is going to make that change? Do you think society is going to change that? No. And who is this society? Yeah? I am society. I am the one who will change this. So if today you and I decide that today when I walk out of this room, today when I walk out of this seminar, I am not going to judge people by their color, by their height, by their sex, by their weight, by the way they look, but I'm going to judge people by the way they talk, what is their content, how I'm going to judge them through humanity, not because of which car they are traveling in. I'm not going to judge which area of Bombay are they living in. I am going to judge. So it's not just body shaming. There's a lot of shame which we don't talk about as well. So I've covered all of them. I think. Yeah. So the more you will travel in the world, the more you will realize that human beings have a tendency of putting, quickly differentiating. तुम ऐसे हो, तुम गुज्जू हो, मैं पंजाबी. तो गुज्जू तो ऐसी होते हैं, पंजाबी तो ऐसी होते हैं, है ना? We have this. But can I consciously change this? Can I stop saying that if you're a Sindhi, you'll definitely have a papad? Can I consciously stop saying that if you're a Punjabi, you must be someone who's a big show-off? Can I change this definition? Can I change these things? Yes, I can. Are you with me in this? Can you change that? People who are taller are more handsome. Boys who are darker are more handsome. Can you change that? No. Can you change this definition that a fair man is not necessarily not handsome? He can be handsome in his own way. Yeah. So let's change it with us. And anybody around you who is using these terms, gently, very gently, correct them. How I corrected you, you also correct. By having compassion in your heart. There's no need to be like this. तुम तो बड़े वो हो, मैं बहुत फेमिनिस्ट हूँ, ऐसे नहीं बोलते. कोई नहीं सुनेगा आपकी बात. कोई जरूरत नहीं झंडे गाड़ने की. हर चीज में झंडे गाड़ने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. So कैसे बोलोगे आप? How are you going to fight this? You're going to fight it by compassion. Because you have to understand that people are nurtured to believe into these things. They're not born with this. When you were very young, you didn't care where your friend was coming from, which religion, which society. You were playing with anyone and everybody, isn't it? Right? As you grew up, you started having these, no, I don't hang out with these people. I want to hang out with these people. You did that, right? Didn't you? So even you've done that. Even I've done that. But we are nurtured to, we are in a society where we were told to do that. So let us change this definition. Let us unlearn. It's okay to unlearn. Okay? Don't worry so much about what other people are doing. Focus on how I can be a person with a very big heart. How can I embrace everybody? How can I learn? I did one live with a very wonderful person, and that person explained to me on a live session how she is not okay. I'm using the word she. Okay, now I'll tell you why. How she was not okay about using the pronoun she and her, and how she corrected me in the interview by saying that you can call me his. On a live, I have made a mistake. I didn't research enough. But you know what I learned from that person? I learned vast heartedness. I learned that you don't have to get offended by small things. You can, rather than getting offended, you can teach. Some people will understand, some will not, which is fine. But it's my duty to teach people. So I'm going to teach them about it. So a lot of people use the word to mental हो क्या. अब मैं डॉग ऑफ हैप्पीनेस चलाती हूँ, जाके झंडे तो नहीं गाड़ सकती. बहुत सारे लोग बहुत सारी बातें यूज करते हैं, मेरी खुद की फैमिली ने यूज किया वो. Very gently correct them. Calling somebody with some kind of an obsessive nature, calling that person, or calling yourself, I have OCD, is very wrong. I know how OCD is, and I get really angry when somebody says, I have mild OCD. You have not been diagnosed with OCD. You don't even know what OCD is. है ना? So, अब क्या मैं लड़ पड़ूं उस बंदे से जाकर कि तुमने कैसे ये वर्ड बोल दिया? कोई जरूरत नहीं. I can gently also explain. So I think I've understood. I think I've explained it quite a lot, and I want to jump to the next question, because I can just keep on elaborating on it. I'm very good at that. Okay. Ma'am, I think after we take any kind of decision, we are overthinking about a particular decision. How to overcome overthinking at the same time? Overthinking is not bad, yeah. Overthinking is a natural function of the brain. So first I want to congratulate you that your brain is working perfectly. I made an illustration and I think they showed it to you. The illustration was about a cowboy who's sitting on the mind, sitting on the brain, and is trying to, get the reins of the brain. Mind is like a monkey, or like a horse, a wild horse. Okay, he'll keep running, jumping from one tree to another tree. That's what the mind does. Your mind is perfectly working. What you have to now do is how to उसको रेन से कैसे पकड़ना है. क्या बोलते हैं उसको हिंदी में? घोड़े की क्या होता है? जो भी समझ गए ना? हाँ, वही. How to grab the horse and put the brain towards the right energy. Put the brain in the right direction. That is what you have to learn. And how are you going to do that? By mindfulness. It's an exercise. When we go to the gym, our muscles, they have their own mind. I'm sure the instructor must have told you at some point of time, you must have got this concept that every muscle has their own brain, right? So if you keep on doing the same exercise, the muscle understands it, and after that, it doesn't do anything. And then you have to change your routine, isn't it? Similarly, the mind also. You will have to keep on exercising and trying to see what is working for me. So in my case, mindfulness is so important. When I do multitasking, I go exactly like this, like the face that I made, blank. So if I am right now taking a session, I have to only take this session. And I'm doing things at a time. I'm in office. I have to make a Canva presentation. I have to make some creatives. I have my freelance work going. I have Eklavya, my 7-year-old son, on my head, who's playing PlayStation right now at our house. Okay, I have 100 things going on, but right now, all of that is there. It's there. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It exists. But right now I'm taking the session and I just have to concentrate here. So I am telling you that the most amazing thing that you have is the present moment. Please stop multitasking when you're doing something, when you're doing a task. You can multitask. By multitask, I don't mean कि आप, करने के लिए, तो जब मैं वो एक चीज कर रही हूँ तो सिर्फ ये एक ही चीज करनी है. Don't think about the other. When you're with somebody, be with that somebody. Then keep your phone aside. That is the put reins to your monkey mind. Okay, so one key is that. Okay, let me take another question. I hope I was able to answer your question. Is it normal to have emotional breakdowns? Tell me, what is abnormal? Tell me. Everything is abnormal, यार. Everything. ये वही बात है, सही और गलत. If I have a mental breakdown, if I have an emotional breakdown, क्या ये सही है, क्या ये गलत है? जब किसी को कैंसर होता है, क्या आप ये सवाल पूछते हो? ये नॉर्मल है कि अबनॉर्मल है? जब किसी का हार्ट ब्रेक होता है और उसको दर्द होती है, क्या आप बोलते हो क्या ये नॉर्मल है या अबनॉर्मल है? ये नेचुरल है. इमोशनल ब्रेकडाउन इज नेचुरल. स्टॉप यूजिंग दीज वर्ड्स सही और गलत. रियली कुछ नहीं है यार सही और गलत, कुछ नहीं है. जो आपके लिए सही है वो मेरे लिए गलत है, जो मेरे लिए गलत है आपके लिए सही है. सिंपल एज दैट. सो अबनॉर्मल नहीं है यार, इट इज नेचुरल. और इमोशनल ब्रेकडाउन कब होता है? अभी मेरा आईपैड है, इसकी बैटरी लो की जा रही है, 19% पे है और मुझे लग रहा है कि ये सेशन मैं पूरी तरह ले पाऊंगी कि नहीं. ठीक है, अभी 19% से अगर ये 1% हो जाए और मैं इसको चार्जर पे ना लगाऊं, किसकी गलती है? आईपैड की गलती है, मेरी गलती है? आईपैड एक मशीन है ना, फोन एक मशीन है. अगर हम उसको चार्ज नहीं करेंगे तो हम आईफोन वालों को गालियां नहीं निकाल सकते ना, किसी भी फोन की कंपनी को, कि यार आपका फोन बड़ा बेकार है. अरे आपने चार्जिंग पे लगाया नहीं है. सिमिलरली, क्या मैं अपने आप को चार्ज करती हूँ? क्या मैं अपने आप को रिचार्ज करती हूँ? क्या मैं अपने आप को फुल्ली, क्या मैं दिन में 5 मिनट 10 मिनट अपने लिए निकालती हूँ? अगर इसका आंसर है नो, तो यू आर हेडिंग फॉर एन इमोशनल ब्रेकडाउन वेरी सून. आज नहीं तो कल. Or you've already had it maybe 5 minutes before this session, or maybe 5 days before. Yeah, we are also machines. Okay, and we also need charging. That is why mini vacations, zoning out. So if you don't do it now, if you don't do it, your body will start doing it naturally, because that's how we are built. So that it doesn't happen, I want you to start taking mini breaks. कल आपको exercises बताई थी. I think there was a doctor who had come, right? Please utilize those exercises. Mindfulness, meditation is the only way to recharge ourselves. There is no other way. There is no shortcut. Okay? Yes? You guys are so wonderful. Some of you have also gone off to sleep, which is a good thing, because I feel that my voice is very melodious and I'm put you to sleep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope I have been able to create little value in your life. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. Anybody wants to take over?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out your time to Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out your time to conduct such an amazing and informative session. I hope each and everyone has got a clear idea about how much important critical thinking is and how important it is to take important decisions at particular times. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. So should we leave the meeting? Yeah.
Yes,
I can see a lot of people
Participants are required to stay in the meeting. We will be circulating a feedback form in the chat box.
Thank you very much. Also, one quick request or a threat. Right now, go to Instagram. Please follow Doc of Happiness. Okay. Bye bye. See you.
Bye, ma'am.
Whenever you get stuck, you can always chat. If you have nobody that you can speak to, I utilize these 2 years that God has given me very beautifully. I keep the information with me. I have a very vast heart. I really do also have a vast heart, but I utilize my vast heart to another extent. So if there's nobody in the world whom you think can understand you, please write to me. I will listen to you. Always there. Okay? Bye bye. Thank you so much for being so patient and being so amazing. Bye.
Bye.